Do not judge a book by its cover, and definitely do not judge this building by its facade. Not far from downtown Detroit on Lafayette Street beside the M10, you'll find or perhaps stumble upon a used bookstore. John K. King Books is the holy grail of used bookstores. The 4-story cinder block industrial structure was built in 1905. Since 1983, it has been a fortress protecting the 1 million gems hidden inside. This bookstore is an entity of the past, stubbornly yet graciously refusing to join the present. The paint is chipping, the floors are warped, and the stock is overflowing. While society seems determined to minimize and digitize, this colossal store is overcrowded with around 1 million big, bulky, physical books. The word minimal sounds funny in a place like this, and nothing is digital. Technology has no place here. There is simply no room for it, and owner John K. King wouldn't have it any other way.
I mean, we keep the same exact mission statement as all the old bookstores that have been around for hundreds of years.
There is no computerized search system for finding a particular publication, but the walls, aisles, and shelves are all labeled with handwritten signs of the over 900 categories.
Well, computerizing involves hiring a bunch of people, paying a bunch of people, and then competing with the internet. So all our $3 books would have to be marked down to a penny plus postage, and that doesn't even make sense. So it's better just to keep the system that we have. We have a system that we've had from day one, and it's built on the systems that were in used bookstores starting back in the 14th or 15th century on up.
But a lot has changed in the world of book selling since then. 1455 is actually the year the very first book was printed using movable type. The book was the Gutenberg Bible, and it marked the beginning of the age of the printed book. There are only 21 complete copies left in the world. Many have been divided into individual pages. King has one of these pages in his own private stash. Pre-Gutenberg, the story of the book actually begins on etched tablets, handwritten scrolls, and sheets of papyrus, leading to the binding of books known as codices. This gave way to engraved stamping and press print, and eventually the mass production of the printed book. Before this, those who wanted to read had to be part of an elite class of people who had access to the limited numbers of available books. That number is now far from limited. Recent studies estimate the total number of book titles ever printed to be almost 134 million. The history of the book is clear. Those chapters have been written, but the future of the book is somewhat difficult to predict in this age of ever-advancing technology. Rumors about the death of the book have been murmured for years with every emergence of competing media. Radio, TV, the internet. And then came along the most feared enemy the book has known to date, the electronic book, a digital phenomenon that could possibly destroy the need for the physical analog book. King never believed it.
Books will continue to hold their own. Well, because people love books. People like the touch, the feel. You can read them, you can bookmark them, you can read them without a battery. You can drop them, they're not going to come into little tiny plastic pieces. So, books are hardy things that you could take with you and learn from and enjoy.
It seems he may be right. New data suggests that the worldwide reading public is ditching ebooks and returning to the old-fashioned printed word. Recent numbers show that sales of the ebook are falling, while sales of physical books are rising. Customers of King's are contributing to those numbers.
I think books are more important than ever, and I can't imagine reading anything that I can't hold in my hand and open up and look at chapters and get the structure of the book and everything before I start into it. So, yeah, I've got to have a book in my hand. I can't imagine reading on a Kindle.
In the US, Canada, and the UK, the trends are all the same. Ebook sales are down, while the sales of paperback and hardcover books are up. It would appear that physical books are seeing a resurgence. They are surviving, even thriving in the age of digital.
I wasn't worried about books disappearing, but what I was concerned about was people finding value in going to a bookseller. I always believed that the printed word would exist because there are people like me, lots of people like me, who still read. And we like physical books, and we like discovery, and we like to be able to trace the footnotes in the books, and we want to figure out where you got the information from, and physical books provide us with that.
She may not be worried about the death of the physical book, but she does have some concern when it comes to people actually shopping in a used bookstore. Online shopping is popular, and almost every book is available in either an ebook or a physical copy. But she says the true value of a used bookstore can be found in the moments of discovery.
I think it's a discovery experience for most people, and I think that's what makes it special. One of the reasons that I always came to used bookstores, and specifically this one, is it wasn't the book that I came for that they might not have. It was the book that was next to that book.
Going to a used bookstore takes time, and in this day and age, time is at a premium. However, that may be the exact reason that this bookstore has managed to stay afloat within the quicksands of emerging technology. Finding a book here feels like a treasure hunt. That's part of its charm. A quick stop may become an all-day adventure.
Well, because we have over 900 categories here, we get people from all over the world coming in, and there's a ton of variety and treasures to be found.
This bookstore isn't a store. It's an experience, complete with the possibility of a quick passing chat with the intriguing Mr. King himself. He is almost always there at the store, sorting through books or setting up plans for his own treasure hunt to get his hands on more stock.
They come from dead people.
Where do you travel to get them?
We just came back from Chicago with a truckload. We're going to San Francisco tomorrow to pick up some stuff. So we get books from all over, mostly in the metropolitan area here, but we do travel far for books also.
Bibliophiles will often visit King's store to simply wander the aisles and literally be surrounded by knowledge. You won't ever convince these customers that physical books have no place in the world.
Books, they're precious. I mean, think about the times that we've had dictators control our minds. The first thing they did was burn books. When you buy a book, you're protesting. You're protesting the mind control movements.
She does have a point. The burning of books represents censorship and has been carried out by authoritative regimes of the past, both political and religious. In some cases, the destroyed books have been irreplaceable and led to a severe loss of cultural heritage. Like the burning of books in China under the Qin dynasty of 2013 to 2010 BC. The burning of the Library of Alexandria in 49 BC. The obliteration of the Library of Baghdad in 1258. The destruction of Aztec codices in 1430. And the burning of Mayan codices by order of Bishop Diego de Landa in 1562. And on May 10, 1933, the German student union groups at universities across Germany and Australia carried out a series of book burnings, ones that Nazi party members associated with an un-German spirit. The books burned were viewed as being rebellious for having any beliefs opposed to Nazism. John K. King Bookstore is not only preserving books, but preserving our culture. But from TV shows and movies and video games and cell phones and good old-fashioned real-world stuff like playing sports and socializing, books have never gone up against such tough competition for our attention. The battle isn't really between physical books and their digital counterparts, but rather between books and everything else available to us, the consumers. Although ebooks appear to have been a passing fad, the used bookstore is still trying to find its place in the needs of our society. Perhaps books and bookstores will always be one of those fluid parts of our culture that will continually change and adapt as we do. One thing is for sure, many physical books will morbidly outlive their owners. Used bookstores like King's will always welcome these orphaned anthologies with open arms, or shelves at the very least.
We're doing a service. We're providing books that otherwise would have disappeared, and we continue to give them life and re-life, and they live again until the other person decides to sell them or trade them or they die.